Hello everyone. This is my video on how to install Ubuntu Server in VMware Workstation 15.56. Basically, we're just going to install it really quick, bit all the defaults. I'm going to install openSSH, and I'm going to SSH it into it, and then I'm going to run these few commands, and then I'm going to save the snapshot. The whole purpose of this is just basically a really quick video. Most of everybody can do it, but just basically just to get it up so that you have like a base server you can work with on the Ubuntu server to play around with and to further on the configuration. This is like the first video in a series, but this is basically this basic installation. So what you're going to do, utilizing just the local computers, you can just go right here, right click, new virtual machine. I'm going to use a typical. Now right here I'll point to the ISO image I want to utilize, and remember it's the shared directory I happen to be in, and this I'm using Ubuntu Server 20.04.4 live server ISO right there. Click next. D3. I'm going to have my super secret password for S account. So this is my VMware Workstation account. Make sure you match, hopefully. Now this is where this is the name that's going to be showing up in this area. So I'm going to use Ubuntu Server Test 001. And this is the location where the server is going to be located at. I mean, you can browse wherever you go. I usually put it into a shared directory on the machine. And here's the basic disk and hardware section components. I use 60 because 20 might not be big enough. Now, because this is just a basic work machine, I mean, if I'm actually going to use something for performance, I might split the virtual disk. But in this case, I'm going to store it in a single disk. Customize the hardware a little bit. 4 gigs is probably too much, so I'm going to go down to 2 gigs. The processors, I'm going to actually increase that a little bit because I want it to install a little bit faster. And make sure this is checked automatically, because then it's going to power on the virtual machine as soon as you hit the finish button. And we're going to go through a bunch of error message because it's VMware. And just exit out everything, and this is my removable drive stuff that's hooked up, and it's going to boot up. And while it's doing that, again, I'm going to look at this is basically what I'm doing again. I'm going to run these commands, install it with the basic configuration. That's probably going to be IP address. And this is, normally where my this is where my ISOs are stored at the basic thing. Now here's this initial splash screen for installing it. Now the first thing you do is you select your language. I press English because I'm English. And here your keyboard layout. Now let me see if I guessed right for my IP address. Yep, it's that. No, I usually note it down. And since it's selected it done, hit OK. There's no proxy address. It's basic configuration. Mostly all defaults at this point in time. Here I'm using the entire disk because this is just the VM, nothing special. Here it shows you the configuration that you picked. And then this is where you start the installation process. Now, I'm going to use DD, my name. This is the first And my server name is going to be Ubuntu Server 0001. Let's just go with that one. And then back DT for the username and my super secret password. 34. And hit the done. And this is where you install openSSH. It gives you the option, so just hit the space bar and then pick the default still and then scroll down to done. Now here you can add additional items, but again, this is a basic install. So I want to install stuff specifically, and I want to play around with the server for the most part. For the next several videos, are going to be installing and using different stuff. So hit done, and now we're installing the system with that configuration. So save some time on the video, I'm going to pause the video. Let's do that real quick. All right, it's installed now. So what I'm going to do now, you hit the arrow button and you see the view. You can view the log if you wish to, or reboot now. Now, since this is a really bare metal server, it should be really quick boot. So I'm going to just stay on the air again. And we're going to secure shell into it. So basically, I'm thinking this is the IP address. That could, that should be the IP address. And we're going to just basically run these two commands and then take a snapshot. And then I'm pretty much going to end the video here. So it looks like it's ended. Logged in. So I'm in the shell. So let's go to close terminal. Open up a new shell. SSHDD at, that's the IP address again. Now right here, because this is the very first time logging into the server, it's going to want you to download the certificate. So you hit yes. And then you type in the password again, so the super secret password. And hopefully I typed it in right. And so I'm logged into the server. That's what I named the server. So make sure I'm in the working container, DD. And it's fine. So now, first thing you do is update the server when you install one. So what this command does, it's broken up in two parts, so it's piping in, it's basically piping in, it's doing the first command, which is updating the list. And then the second command is you're actually, if it finds stuff to upgrade, it's going to upgrade, and the -y switch basically answers yes. Otherwise, you'd be hitting yes or enter on every item. So you do this, put in their super secret password. Hopefully I spelled it right, okay. Now, just letting you know while it does that, I install these items on my system, because this is basically going to be this is a Ubuntu server, so it's a server. So net2 I install, wget I install, bridge-utils, uidmap, and ACLs. This is kind of like what I would refer to as a basic install for the server. So once I do that, and I'm going to paste that all those in there. It's going to go into installing everything. And then that's pretty much the main thing of the video. What I usually do is do like a sudo reboot. So so connect, start boot server. You can see it rebooting here. And once it's rebooted, take a snapshot, and then you have something to restore to at the end. So it's totally rebooted. So here, just right click, see snapshots, take snapshots, and I'm going to say install. Actually, I'm going to say basic install. Basic install. And you can name whatever you want. And so this way, whatever I do from this point on, I can always just return back to it. And so that concludes the video.